Right, it's me again. You should recognise where the hell we are. Yeah, that's old Nelson up there. Trafalgar Square, National Gallery, yada yada yada. But the thing I wanted to point out to you is this. This is London's smallest police station. Hi everybody, it's Future Simon kicking in here. So, story behind the Trafalgar Square thing. I had just found myself in Trafalgar Square and I knew a couple of things that were there that might have been quite cool to make a little video about. But then when I got home, I thought, right, well, I'll check up on the information a bit, make sure I got it quite right. And I found a very interesting article. It says quite clearly, this booth has never been a police station. Actually, what it was an observation box so that the police can keep an eye on Trafalgar Square. Now, if that seems weird, what you've got to think of is Trafalgar Square was built in the mid-1800s. Became a place of public gathering pretty quickly, actually. And so the whole idea was that if you had a policeman there, he could observe what was going on and could potentially call for help or the likes. So that was the idea, is you could sit in that box, you could watch what's going on, but you had maybe an actual dedicated telephone line or a dedicated communication line. You've got to remember that communications were a big problem. It's part of the reason why you hear the stories of, like, in Whitechapel, in like what's it with the Jack the Ripper, that they're running around blowing whistles, and that's how they would attract other policemen to help. Well, that's because the whistle was the best form of communication at that point in time, and we're talking about the same point of time here. So the police started putting telegraphs in little telephone boxes around the country. You might have seen one. Trafalgar Square didn't get one of these blue boxes because it was thought to be a bit too intrusive. So instead somebody suggested that why don't we hollow out the lamp base. If you have a look at it, it is actually quite a large sort of granite base, and that actually was the original lamp base in Trafalgar Square, it turns out. And they literally hollowed it out and put this tiny little spot into there. In 1920, the Metropolitan Police requested that this be done, and so it was hollowed out, and they put initially put a phone in there so that any policeman could sit in the box and could get on the phone to the nearest police station, which is Cannon Row, which is about 2 streets away, and say this is beginning to kick off or whatever. That was the idea. A bit more of an edit to it, where they actually made the lamp above could actually be made to pulse, so if the policeman had stepped out of the booth to sort of patrol the area, he could see if somebody was wanting to contact him because the light on the top would pulse. And that's exactly the same way that the police boxes worked around the rest of London. It is kind of a police box. Smallest police station, no. Would you always find a policeman in there? No, I was wrong about that. However, it did have direct communication through to a police station. So I was right about that. And yes, they would stand in there and watch what was going on in Trafalgar Square and report back if anything needed to be done. And believe it or not, this was actually in place and in use until the mid-1970s, when eventually radio technology caught up and was more reliable than actually having a landline telephone. And now, let me sign off from London. Again, kind of weird shit you wouldn't know unless you looked at it. See you later. Bye.